We are still on Jenkins, but this time around, we want to look at some post-build actions and check out some build triggers. Log in to my Jenkins account. Okay, that's okay. Okay, now we are here. We are in Jenkins. Let's check out this project. So this is a project we're working on. So we'll go to configure. Let's see what we've done in the past. We're able to set up Git, right? Set up authentication, right? Because we're using a private repository. For the branch, we decided to remove master because our branch is main, so it could be anything. So to play safe, we just left it blank, right? So we also looked at, okay, we've not done this. Also looked at top Maven targets, right? Looked at Maven commands like install, right? MVN install, which we install, which would create a target directory with the package and have the artifacts set up in the empty directory that we can find in the great-grandchild directory of .m2. Okay, we also saw MVN Sonar, which will do our code quality analysis on SonarQube. We also saw MVN deploy, which will back up artifacts on Nexus. And so the clean that we have here is just to remove the already existing package, right? The clean, right? So MVN clean. So it's like bringing two commands together, MVN clean, Sonar, right? So now that's about that. In respect of build, you can see all this relate to build, right? So for post-build actions, we actually touched on setting up email notification, right? We're able to set up the email notification such that emails will be sent for every unstable build. Okay, now another post-build action I want to look at is deployment to the app server, like Tomcat, it could be JBoss, but specifically want to look at Tomcat this time around because the application we've worked on is a web-based application, a .war. Okay, so we could also use JBoss for that, but we'll be using Tomcat this time around. Okay, so now to do this, what do we need to do? Before we start looking at our options, let's look at what are we looking for? We are looking for deploy to container ER/war, deploying ER/war files. Okay, so that's what we are basically looking for. So for us to be able to get that, we need to install to go to manage plugin. So let's go to the main dashboard. So leave, we've not done anything yet. So main dashboard, you go to manage Jenkins. While you are here, you want to go to manage plugins, then go to available, right? Right here under available, you want to say you're searching for deploy to container, right? Deploy to container. So this artifact uploader, right? It allows you deploy a WAR to container after a successful build. Have we had a successful build? Yes, we have. So now we want to deploy. Okay, so we are using this deploy to container plugin. So install without restart. So spending, let's wait for it. So it's successful, right? So you can see it's successful. So let's go back to the dashboard and click on the project I want to work on. So while we are here, we want to come and set up, okay? So we come to configure. Once we are here in configure, we want to scroll down. Okay, let's not doing this yet. Let's scroll down to add post build action, right? I want to add post build action. So what am I looking for? I don't see it here yet. I'm expecting to see, okay, it's not here yet. So let's refresh. No problem. So let's check it again. Okay, let's confirm that what we manage Jenkins. Let's go to manage plugin. Let's be sure it's been installed. Deploy to container. Or deploy to container plugin. It's not enabled yet. Now we've enabled it. So no job is running. Let's restart. No job is running at the moment. Your browser will reload automatically when Jenkins is ready. So the reason why mine was that way was because I disabled it at a point. So you are not likely going to experience this step, right? Except if you've disabled it as well at any point in time. I enabled it once, but to show how the process is, I have to disable it so that I can demonstrate how to install the plugin. Okay, so let's come back here. It should be enabled already, but let's confirm. Deploy to container. It was installed, so let's confirm. Deploy to container. Oh, searching the wrong place. Deploy to container. Okay, it's enabled now. So that's fine. So we can go back to the dashboard and select the project we were working on all along. So once we get here, we want to go to configure and go through the steps that we've gone through before. I'm going to check this again and scroll all the way down to add post build action. So this is what I was looking for, deploy wa/here to a container. What we have here is a wa, right? A wa file, okay? So we can click on this right here. So what do we need to do? While we are here, we want to check what we have, right? We want to check what we have here. So, we'll say our file will be in the target directory, right? Slash, we want to pick up, deploy any file with .wa extension, right? Any file that ends with .wa, right? So that's why we have wildcard. So we are looking at target directory and searching for any file that ends with .y. Okay, so what else are we supposed to do here? We want to add a container. So what container are we going to add? Look at all this. So we are looking for Tomcat, right? Tomcat version 9 is what we have, right? But we can confirm that. Tomcat version 9. Tomcat version 9 is what we have. Let's confirm that. Tomcat 9. You can see cd to /opt/opt ls. See, we have Tomcat 9, right? So that's what we have. So Tomcat 9 is what we have. So let's come here. These are the files we already have deployed, right? So let's see what we can do with this. So Tomcat 9. So we need to set up something, right? And what we need to set up is our Tomcat credentials. Now, when you say Tomcat credentials, remember when we were looking at Tomcat, we learned how to add users to Tomcat, right? So let's see if I have any users already added. And we are looking at certain specific roles, right? Remember we added manager-GUI role. So the manager that has access to the graphical user interface to deploy and do all those nice things. Also, another role that we can have is the manager-script role, right? So that is the role that is required to deploy right here, okay? So we want to, we are already in OPT, let's ls, okay, let's cd into Tomcat 9. Tomcat 9, ls. So where are we going? Are we going to find this? So we'll find it in conf. Let's cd to conf. We're looking for ls. We are looking for this file called Tomcat users-users.xml. This is the file we are looking for. So let's vim into that file, Tomcat users.xml. Let's vim into that file. So you can see I'd already set up the manager scripts role. So how do we get there? Once we get to this file, you scroll to the bottom. Just scroll to the bottom. By default, you find this, right? All this is what you find, right? So for me, I needed to create two rows. So I copied the whole of this, right? Then pasted outside the comment, right? Outside the comment before the last line, right? Before the last line, after the comment. That was what I did. Then I set up two rows, right? The first row was manager GUI. I edited what we had here, manager GUI. And the second row was manager scripts, right? For good practice, it's advisable not to give the person that has the manager GUI row also the manager scripts. So I have them separated, right? So Ademola here has the manager GUI role, while another user called the deployer has a manager script role, okay? So let's go back to, since we've established that this has been done, we want to exit without saving, but that's what you need to do if you've not set this up. So we are out of there, okay? So what we want to do now is to go back to Jenkins, right? So we want to add credentials. So we want to add credentials, Tomcat credentials. So you can select this, drop down, right? So you want to come here and say deployer, username, deployer, right? Remember that was the name for the person with manager scripts. I want to add a password. I want to add a password. I want to come down here to select ID, to select Tomcat authentication. Tomcat authentication. Right? Tomcat authentication. Right? So what else? I'll just click on add. So I can select the drop down and take this. The reason why I have two there was that I had already done this setup while I was practicing. So I selected deployer. Okay. So the Tomcat URL that we want to have here. So let's confirm what our Tomcat URL is. Let's say we have Tomcat. Before we do that, let's ensure Tomcat is up. Start Tomcat. Start Tomcat. We should always do this to ensure stability. Start Tomcat. Okay. Okay, let's see. Since we've done that. So let's get our IP address for Tomcat. Call ifconfig.co. So let's copy this. The port for my Tomcat is 9091. I changed it from the default port. So let's put that here and put 9091. Okay, whatever that means, it doesn't matter. We've started Tomcat, we can proceed, right? But let's test that everything is in order. Despite that we saw this, let's confirm that everything is in order. Let's check one of those deployments we've had on Tomcat. Let's see, I have this deployment on Tomcat already. Let's just copy that and paste just to confirm that Tomcat is up. So I'll paste that there. Let's save. You see, Tomcat is up. So sometimes when you see all those funny error messages, don't get on the edge. It's just Tomcat being Tomcat. Okay, so we've confirmed that this is okay. So we want to, at least we know what our link is, our URL for Tomcat. So we come up here and we paste it in Jenkins, Tomcat URL. So we want to put this, that's our Tomcat URL, the IP address, as well as the port number, right? Port 1991. Okay, now that we've established this, we want to proceed with our job, okay? So let's go and apply, then save. Let's go to build now. So we have this job. Let's see what is going on. Let's see what's going on. Okay. Success with that. So we've had a successful deployment. Okay. So this is the file name, right? So TechDom is what was deployed, but let's confirm that from the dashboard. Okay, let's say our workspace. Remember, our target is where we'll have the deployment. So this is what was deployed. TechDom, right? So let's confirm on the browser. Let's open a new tab. Let's open a new tab. Let's copy the IP address. Let's copy the IP address. Let's paste that here. And let's put let's confirm what the name of the project is. That's TechDom. That's what was deployed. Let's paste that in here and paste. So what are we getting there? TechDom. Okay, so let's see what could be happening. Let's just go to Tomcat and restart Tomcat. Start Tomcat. Start Tomcat. Okay, that could just be Tomcat being Tomcat. So let's close this and let's just change this because the name is, let's confirm what we have. Let's confirm that the deployment was actually successful right here. Remember when we checked earlier, this is all we had. At TechDom 2 test deployment, TechDom 2 test deployment. So let's see what we have right now. Let's go to cd ... and let's follow the long path. cd/opt/tomcat9/web apps. Okay, /opt/tomcat9/web apps. So let's ls. You see we have TechDom, right? So this is what we are trying to check out, okay? So let's go there to the browser and take this out. Right, that's the IP address. We want to paste this in. Oh, it says command not found. But this was a success. Let's see, you see this is the build. That's a success. So let's, you know what? Let's delete what we have there. Let's go here. Let's remove rm sudo rm-rv, right? We don't even need to do that. Once you run, okay, let's just do it. Sudo rm-rv. We want to put in our TechDom. Done. Want to delete this TechDom. We also want to delete TechDom.war. Okay, so let's ls. See, thought I deleted TechDom. Thought I deleted that. Okay, it's deleted. Why is it still showing up? Okay, it's gone. So it's just the spirit. Okay, now that we've done that, let's run another build a second time, right? It was a success. I'm not sure why it wasn't showing up, right? Okay, so let's do this. Let's do a build. Okay, let's do a build in Jenkins. So build now. So we're having the build. Okay, so this build is a success. Let's see what we have as a success. Success. So we have a successful build. Let's check it out on Tomcat. Tomcat. So let's see. Car if config.co if config. Okay. So that's the IP address. Right. So let's ls right here and see what we have. See, you can see the deployment we just did. Tectum.wa. You see, it wasn't here. So this is what we have. So let's go to the browser. Okay, let's go to the browser and enter IP address column 809091, right? That's my port number. Then I want to specify TechDom. That's the name of the new deployment. Enter. It tells me error. What could be going on? But let's hold it there. So if you encounter an error like this, what you need to do is just a simple fix. Okay, this is going to be a simple fix. You can just come in here, right? Can come in here, come to your SSH client, right? You can just test to be sure that everything is working well. You might want to come here and say CP, right? You want to move this file, TechDom, right? I want to move that and say TechDom. We want to move it to /home/ /EC2 EC2-user, right? This will just prove to us that there was nothing wrong with what we did, right? That's just Tomcat being Tomcat. So EC2-user, and you want to call this Jenkins job, Jenkins job, right? We'll move it there. We are taking it out of here to the home of EC2-user, Jenkins job. Now that we've done that, oh, CP, I forgot to put -r, sorry about that. CP-r. Oh, okay. I'm moving tectum.wa actually. Tectum.wa, right? So not the main folder, the tectum.wa, that's what I'm moving. I'm moving it out to the other place as jenkinsjob.wa, right? So I want to enter. Now that I've done this, I want to return it to this location by saying CP. I'm moving this file, right? This file from that destination, from that location to this location, to the current location, and I want it to be called jenkinsjob.wa. I want it to come here as this name, okay? So I enter this. So let's see what happens when I do ls. when I do ls right here, I see that I have Jenkins job.war, which was also unpacked. So what we can do is to copy this and go to the browser, right? I want to replace this with that, see? Just want to replace that. Let's place this here, right? So it's still the same IP address, the same, but a new name, right? So let's see what happens. Still says it's not available. Jenkins job. Oh, sorry about that. Not .war. It should be just Jenkins job, right? So now here we are. So we have Jenkins job. So it's the same file actually that we moved out, right? We moved it out and brought it back in. But this time around, we need to use this, not the .war. To see a deployment on the website, we don't use .war. We use the folder, the unpacked folder, right? So that's what we have here. So Jenkins job. So we're able to get that, right? And we have the website. So this is this on post-build action, right? So we can see that we've had a successful build, right? And so that's how it is. So we need to look at something else under, let's look at triggers, build triggers, okay? Let's look at build triggers. So when we click on configure, this is the same project we're working on, configure. So when you click on configure, we can see here we have build triggers, right? So we can see different options we have for build triggers. So this one enables us trigger builds remotely from scripts, like setting up a script and using it to trigger builds, right? Instead of having to manually do all of this fun stuff that we've been doing, you can trigger a build using a script, okay? So another option would be to build after other projects are built, okay? You can trigger it such that this project, for example, will be built only after a certain project has been built. And we can actually demonstrate that because right here, I have something here, right? This is where I am. This is where I am now, right? This is the project, right? But I want this project to be built after a certain project has been built, okay? So let's look at the dashboard. I believe I have another project there that we can use for example. So this project, Jenkins Public, is actually just, let's see the configuration. It's just a GitHub repository that is public. You can see no credentials was added and no error notification here. So the only thing we've done here is just to, let's see. The only thing we've done here is just to say, okay, this is just Git. There's no build, okay? No build step. So it's just a simple project that we can use to illustrate what we want to do. So the project name is Jenkins Public, right? Jenkins Public, I want to copy that. Jenkins Public. Okay, so Jenkins Public. So let's assume we go back to our dashboard, and this is where we're actually doing our work, as you've noted. So this is where we've been doing our work. So if we come to Jenkins, my Jenkins, right, where we've been doing our work, we want to come in here and set up a trigger. So the trigger I want to set up here is for this build, should be done after that other project. That's Jenkins public. After Jenkins public, right? You can see the options that came up, right? Jenkins public, because we have a project called Jenkins public. So we want this build here to happen after Jenkins public has been built, okay? So this trigger should only take place when you see there are different options, right? So, but want to select that the trigger should only take place if the other build was successful. Okay, so want to apply, then save, okay? So right here, you see we have build 10, right? So if we go back to this other project, let's see the other project, Jenkins public. So let's do a build, okay? Once you do a build here, let's see what happens. Build 4. Build 4 was completed. Let's go and check the other project, my Jenkins. You can see it has triggered a build here. And that this build that we have here is triggered as a result of the setup that we've just had, right? That this build should be triggered once the other build is done and it is stable, right? So that is one option which we've been able to see in action. So we have a build, right? We have a build. So this is our build. So now let's look at other options we could have. Another option we could have is to say, let's go to configure and check out the other option we could have. So this other option is, okay, let's untick this. So this is built periodically. It will not be appropriate for what we have here, but nevertheless, let's look at it. Let's look at what it does. Yeah. Provides a cron-like feature, right? Remember we did cron tab, cron tables, right? Cron-like feature for project execution. Okay, so for this, it tells us what we can do if you want to just set up a time when you do your build, right? You can use this, but it should not be appropriate for a web application that we have here. It will be more appropriate for certain recurring projects that should happen at a certain time, right? So, but nevertheless, let's look at what it entails. It's based on cron-like feature. It provides a cron-like feature. So just a refresher, to understand our cron table, we can search for cron tab generator on Google, right? So we can select this option. Okay, so what this means is, you see, for cron tables, right? If you want an action to take place every minute, every hour, every day, every month, and every day of the week, right? You set them as what we have here. You see it's set up as every minute. You see, you can see the setup. There are other options, right? But if you want it set up as every minute, every hour, every day, every month, right? So this is what you set up as, right? So if you want to generate a cron table line, okay, command to execute, okay. So command to execute, let's say this is command one to execute. We're just putting that. So you see what it will generate. See, it generates this, right? So this is expected to be pasted on the cron tab, right? When we click on cron tab space E, right? So this is what we expected to put there. So we copy this. So So this star indicates every minute, every hour, every day, right? So we can just go on and on like that, right? So we want to come here and paste this here. If you paste this here, look at what you have. You have this, right? No schedule, so we never run. So we've checked that. So viewed periodically. So we want to save this, right? So if we save this, so we expect that if there's any change, just a minute. So we are looking at this running every minute. You can see a build has been triggered. It's been a minute, right? So a build has been triggered, right? We didn't have to press anything and see a build has been triggered. You can look at the time we have here, 1:10. The build was triggered. So no action is required. So every minute, this will be triggering a build, right? So if we wait for another 1 minute, you see another build will be triggered. But this is not appropriate for this kind of project, right? Because no action has taken place, it's just triggering builds, right? It really doesn't work for something like this. Okay, so let's watch and see. Once it triggers a second build, we'll go and look at another example. You can see that's triggered another build after a minute. Okay, so while that is ongoing, let's go back to configure, right? And look at another example. So this time around, we'll be looking at an example similar to, right, build periodically, right? So we want to close this and take this poll SCM, right? Poll SCM. This works like build periodically such that you can put in a schedule, right? You can put in a schedule, but this time around, it doesn't just trigger, right? It doesn't just trigger. It is tied to the SCM, right? So, and our SCM here is the GitHub, okay? It is tied to the GitHub. The only difference between this and build periodically is that this makes sense, right? It is tied to GitHub, okay? Now let's save this, let's apply and save, yeah? So once we apply and save, let's wait for a minute, right? This is based on the previous setup, the 14th, right? So let's just wait for a minute or two, right? Then we'll see that nothing is going to happen because this is not tied to, this is tied to the SCM, that's GitHub, right? So it's tied to GitHub, right? You'll see that nothing's going to happen. Okay, while we are waiting, let's go to our GitHub, right? And do, okay, you see, it's 1 minute after and nothing has happened, right? You can see it's 1 minute after and nothing has happened. So let's go to GitHub and make a modification to our file. So this is the private repository we are working with. So this is the private repository we are working with. So you come here, let's go to the source codes and make a modification. Let's make a modification to the source code. Okay, let's come to web app. Let's come to GSPS. Let's do a hotfix. Okay, so we want to scroll down to this part, okay, and make a modification, right? So let me not use this. Let's go back. Okay, let's go to edit. Okay, so let's remove the ellipsis and just put a full stop. Let's put a full stop there. Let's save. Let's commit changes. Okay, so now we've just done something. Let's see whether it has triggered anything. So let's wait, because this is also based on the minute count, okay? You can see the last time this was done was 112, but this change that we made is based on the minute count, okay? So let's see, you can see pending in quiet period expires in, okay, 4 seconds, okay? You can see, you see the time, pending finish waiting, you can see you can see the time, 1:15 a.m. The last one was 1:12 a.m., right? So you can see it's triggering a build. So with this, what it means is that if there is no change to our GitHub, right? If there's no change to GitHub, there will be no change here. So if we wait for so long, we'll realize that there will be no change, right? Because this schedule is tied to changes to the GitHub. If there's no commit, there will be no change here, right? If there's no commit, there will be no build. So this is a very good way, right, to extract changes from GitHub, right? Because it is possible that within the minutes, right, after making changes, developer realizes that, oh, I made a mistake, right, with what I've done. Developer can always go back and make some minor edits, right? Developer can always go back and make some minor edits. So it's been 1 minute after our talk, there's been no change, right? Let's wait for another 1 minute and we realize that there will still be no change. But while we are at that, let's go back to, right? You can see 1:15 is what we have here. Ordinarily, it should have been 1:16, right? When another build will be triggered, right? But because this is tied to GitHub, right? So nothing like that is happening. So what we want to do now is to come here. Let's go to our GitHub and make another modification. Let's restore to what we had before, right? You can see change was 2 minutes ago and we only have one build. So let's see how we can trigger another change. So let's restore what we had before with ellipsis. Okay, so I want to save this now, right? Let's commit changes. So before we commit changes, let's see, you see, the last time it was build 15, right? So we want to commit changes, right? It's over 2 minutes after, so commit changes. So let's see what happens. So I expect the build to be triggered in 1 minute time or less than, okay. So you can see it's 1:18, you see. So this trigger is based on the action that takes place in the SCM, that's GitHub.